Hey, yo, yo, yo. Hey, great people. What's going on? Ron Brooks, aka Champ Ron, coming to you on Monday, May the 31st. Yeah, we made it through the month of May. Very, very intriguing month, to say the least. But now we're getting ready to embark on June, and we're already coming up on kind of the midpoint of 2022 already, man. It's just flying by. Hope is finding you in good health, good spirits. And uh, took time to recognize and reflect for the meaning of the holiday on yesterday. But what I wanted to get into kind of quickly with you is uh, for many of you now, you're familiar with that I'm pretty heavily involved in land investing. Well, let me do this. Before I get into that, for those of you that are here in Memphis, where I am, Memphis, Tennessee, if you are interested in being a part of a workshop we're putting together at River City Capital. As you know, at River City Capital, our mission is to provide low cost loan funding for small business in previously disinvested and underserved areas of Memphis, of the Memphis Shelby County area here. We have successfully deployed uh, right around $18 million since 2016 in this community to small businesses. Many of those businesses led by people of color as well as women, but a whole diverse array of businesses that we've been able to serve as the business is located or serves those disinvested areas of Memphis, those areas that we're trying to build or rebuild here. We served as a catalyst at River City Capital to do that. One of the things that we're looking to do is a workshop. I will get the dates. So I don't have the date and time quite yet, but if you're in the Memphis area, or if you have connections or colleagues, friends, family that are in the small business arena here in Memphis, definitely encourage them to go to rivercitycapital.org. Again, that's rivercitycapital.org, and go to the contact us tab and just send us just kind of brief contact info and let us know that you're interested in the workshop. That way, when we have our date set, which I'm thinking is probably going to be later in June, probably looking at a Saturday later in June, you'll be able to get an invitation, and we want to be able to get those out in time so that you can attend. It's going to be at our new office here in the Midtown area of Memphis, 1863 Madison Avenue. So that's near the intersection of Madison and McLean. So I'd love to have you come out. We're going to do a workshop. We're going to speak to how to get funding for your business, loan funding, how to qualify for loan funding for your business. Very critical, very important, and we want you to be a part of that. So we're going to, kind of do some presentations, share with you how we're able to do it, how we work with businesses just like you to provide the funding that you need to uplift your business, which ultimately uplifts this Memphis community. So definitely feel free to, again, reach out to us, rivercitycapital.org. I may even do a 2-for-1 at that. I may also include some real estate investing tips during that workshop to help folks be able to get involved in real estate investing and some very actionable items that you'll be able to take right from the workshop and begin implementing right away. So I haven't decided on that yet, but I may throw in a 2-for-1. Just depends on how things go and how I'm feeling leading up to it. But anyway, rivercitycapital.org. Go and contact us if you're going to be in the Memphis area, or people that's going to be in the Memphis area. Come check us out. All right, for the topic today, the top 3 states I buy land in and why. So I started in real estate 2007 as a property investor, as a landlord. Um, actually bought my first home in 2004 at the age of 23. I was about a year out of college. I was working in banking, so I had access to understanding mortgages and how that all worked. Had a mortgage officer actually in my office, and so I bought my first property here in Memphis for my residence. But my first investment property I bought in 2007, and was able to go through that. Went through the downturn, '08, '09, and 10. Was able to rebound from that. Extremely fortunate to be able to do that, and continued in that pathway. And then I bought my first land lot here in Memphis in 2017, and it really grew an affinity for land, but didn't really make the switch until very recently, within the last year or so, I'd say. Maybe year to 15 months or so, where I made the switch kind of more exclusively to land. And the reason for that is I found that land is really one of the best kind of real estate lanes or channels that you can get involved in, because the cost of ownership is so much lower. That's really where the value is. The location of the land is really what gives even the property value, right? And so it's all predicated off the land. And so there's so many different exit strategies you can do with land, and it doesn't have the stress points of people and structures, which adds compliance and also adds layers of concern when you have human beings and structures, right? Or residing in structures. Um, there's a lot more stress points that are involved than with land, basically dirt, grass, maybe a lake or some kind of a stream, um, and some sort of vegetation, some sort of trees or bushes or whatnot. Those are a lot easier to maintain than people. And so one of the things that I saw in it was, again, the various exit strategies that you were able to execute on, that I execute on consistently, as well as others on my team and other colleagues and whatnot. So I really grew an affinity for land. And so the top three states that I buy land in, and one of the great things about buying land is it's a whole lot less expensive. I don't really have to get in. It's inexpensive to the point where I don't have to really get involved with lenders, right? And that's a bit of an oxymoron as a guy that leads a financial institution, right? But I don't have to get involved with lenders to be able to acquire. One of the primary ways that I acquire is through what's called seller financing, right? Where the seller serves as my bank and finances me for the purchase of said property. And so that's one of the main ways. There's other ways in terms of arbitrage and things of that nature. But one of the prime ways that I buy is through seller financing or even buying wholesale, right? And so yeah, I'm able to do that. I'll give you an example. I recently purchased in the last 2 weeks, I purchased 2.5 acres just outside of the Phoenix Scottsdale area in Arizona. I bought it for $2,600, but instead of paying $2,600 out of my checking account or going and borrowing $2,600, I was able to put $100 down on the lot, and I pay $75 a month for it. So $100 down, $75 a month. All right. Now, if you were to join the Land Champs Club, which is at landchamps.club, that's my online community, and it includes a training course on investing in land on your terms, as well as some other benefits. You would learn the exit strategies that I will use with that. So I've got the land $100 down, $75 a month. So now your question is, what do I do with that? You got a 2.5 acre lot. What do I do with it? Well, that's what I train in the Land Champs Club. And so definitely check that out if you want to learn some more about various exit strategies with land, on how I'm going to take that land and make roughly about $300 to $400 a month recurring passive income, from that. Okay. And I don't have to worry about tenants. I don't have to worry about roofs. I don't have to worry about leaky pipes. I don't have to worry about managing contractors with rehab. I don't have to worry about windows. I don't have to worry about any of that stuff, right? HVAC, none of that stuff I have to worry about. Here's the other thing. I could make even more money if I were to place a structure on the land, let's say a tiny home, right? If I were to get that, which you can get them off Amazon now, of course, like most things. So, I could put that on there, put it as a short-term rental, and boom, there we go, right? And I'm outside of Phoenix, Scottsdale, which is one of the growing cities in terms of population, new population in the country right now. A lot of people moving to that area, right? So that's just one of many examples that I have when it refers to land. But the top three states, okay? So I've already mentioned one. One is Arizona, okay? Arizona is a great kind of combo community of, so you've got kind of the Phoenix, Scottsdale area, you got Tempe, you got some other where they're kind of a little bit more city hubs. And then the rest of Arizona is largely rural. However, one of the things that I love about Arizona is land is fairly inexpensive. Taxes are reasonable. They're not the best, but they're certainly better than the coast, right? They're better than California and Oregon, some of those areas, Washington State, and they're certainly better than Florida and uh, even Virginia and New York State and Massachusetts and some of that more on the East Coast, right? Um, there's a plentiful amount of land available in Arizona. And because there's so many people moving there, a lot of people are moving there to retire uh, because they're still active, and so they can go to Arizona. They still are not too long of a drive from California if they want to go there, say for a weekend trip or whatnot. But they don't necessarily have to live there and deal with some of the higher taxes, just higher cost. And so Arizona is a really attractive area for buying land. And again, there's a plethora of it there that's available. Most of it largely undeveloped. A lot of the land is connected to utilities though, which is really good, which makes it a little bit different to say like Nevada. What I found in Nevada is there's a lot of available land, of course, in Nevada, but a lot of it's kind of desert, barren, and it's a little more raw. So it's not tied to a lot of times any kind of utility, and so you would have to either bring that out, or you'd have to use some other forms of utilities for that land, and so that can make it a little bit more of a challenge. Taxes are a little bit higher there too that I found in Nevada. So that's just kind of that comparison. But Arizona, and these are in no particular order. I'm just giving you the top three that I tend to look at. So Arizona is one of those three. Definitely can check it out. Like I mentioned, I've purchased a land that the total asking was $2,600, but I worked a deal with the seller. I put $100 down and $75 a month. So think about that. You owning a piece of land for $75 per month, right? Just think about that. You own your own land, 2.5 acres for that amount of money. Now, if you were buying a rental property, if you were buying a turnkey rental property that was rent ready, right, for someone to move in, you'd have to put, 15, 20, 25, 30 or more $1,000 down, even if you're buying in, say, the Midwest, where it's a lot less expensive. Don't even talk about buying on the coast, right? And so you'd have to come up with, let's just say it's $30,000 down, on $100,000 to $120,000 property in the Midwest, say in Kansas somewhere, or Nebraska or Illinois, right? So you'd have to do all of that, have a tenant, keep it all managed, and by the time you get done with your mortgage, by the time you get done with taxes, by the time you get done with fees, property management, all that type of stuff, um, and your rent spread is probably going to be about $200 to $300 per month on average, right? But you got to do all of that work, right? And you got to be concerned about, is that person going to continue to pay? What's the maintenance going to be over time? So you have to have a lot of cash reserves, and you have to have access to lenders, right? So your whole business is predicated on, you're a bit at the mercy of the lender. So you're somewhat working for the lender, right? Because don't pay it and see what happens to your property. So you're always at the mercy of a lender. With land, I'm not at the mercy of a lender. I'm working with the seller oftentimes, who I'll tell you is much better to work with than any lender or financial institution, right? They're a lot more flexible, a lot more open to ideas and thoughts and things like that. Um, and I'll talk about in future episodes where I'll share kind of how you build relationship and how you build the rapport with the seller, because there's a way that you need to align yourself. Because, like most things in life, you can't just go to people asking with your hand out, right? You've got to bring some type of value to the table. One of the ways that I found that I get stuff, or when people ask me how do things work out, I tell them it's very simple. I come bearing gifts. I bring something of value, or I have a conversation to find out what is of value to, say in this situation, a seller, and I look to try to deliver on that first. Then I come back and we have a conversation about, say the land or whatever it is. In this case, land. They're selling land, or maybe they're not selling. Maybe they own land that I'd be interested in buying. Well, if my first call is, well, hey, Ron, this is Ron, and I'd like to buy your land. Gimme, 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 me, mine, and all I ever do is share how things work out for me and how I benefit. It's hard to get to compel people to really work with you and really help you out when it's a one-sided conversation, right? And all you're able to articulate is how you benefit, right? So you got to be able to showcase mutual benefits. So if you provide value, you get value back. That's just the way I operate and way I understand doing business. So anyway, Arizona's number one, or Arizona's my first one that I'll mention. All right. My next one that I mentioned is Florida. And I mentioned Florida earlier. That's another state that I like to buy in right now. Of course, Florida being the Sunshine State, it attracts a lot of tourists, but residents as well. Now, Florida is an interesting state in that it's kind of made up of different sectors. You got Northern Florida, you got kind of Central Florida, and then you got South Florida, right? Um, and of course, it gets a little bit more expensive the further down in the state that you go. So, North Florida, you're talking from Pensacola over all the way through to Jacksonville on the east side of the state, kind of that northern area. Say, Tallahassee, that sort of area. You can get some great deals there. That does attract people who come there for vacation, that sort of thing. Of course, Central Florida you got the Empire of Disney there in Orlando, Ocala, Orlando, to Tampa, going near Port Canaveral, that sort of thing. So kind of that Central Florida area is very intriguing, growing a ton, obviously with Orlando being the chief piece of that. And then as you get down to southern Florida, so you got from Key West around to Miami, Daytona, all that area along the kind of the eastern coast of Florida, South Florida, you could definitely find some good deals. Of course, Miami is what it is. Tremendous, gets a lot of attention. If you can get land in and around Miami, you're really doing something good. So Florida, obviously, from a tax standpoint, is very attractive, right? There are many retirees. Lots of development goes on in Florida, of course, because of that, because of the retirees and because of the growth, and of course because of the weather. Um, it's got probably the second best weather after Southern California, right? Um, and so because of the great weather, Florida's always been an attraction, right? And so definitely, we take a look at Florida. Um, Seller financing deals aren't as plentiful as Arizona, like I mentioned earlier, and then the next state that I'm going to mention, um, because what you find is a lot more rural type land, but sellers a little bit more open to serving as seller financing in some of the Midwestern, kind of the western part of the Midwest, say Nebraska, Kansas, that sort of piece, going into Colorado and, like I mentioned, Arizona, Utah, New Mexico, some of those states, even Montana. Some of those states you find a little bit more ease and seller financing deals. But anyway, you can do them in Florida, and Florida is one of the top three states for me in terms of that. Um, the last state that I'm going to mention is one that may not show up on a ton of radars right now. However, you may see it even more so in the future, and that's Arkansas, which is a neighbor state for me here in Tennessee, particularly from Memphis. We're just across the bridge from eastern Arkansas. Um, Arkansas is a very intriguing state in that there's really no urban cores. Probably the largest one is Little Rock, which is kind of more in the central part of the state. And then you got Fayetteville, which is home of Tyson Foods and Walmart, um, and that sort of thing. So you've got some industry kind of sprinkled around the state, but you don't have there's no Chicago, there's no Atlanta, type city. There's, none of that type. There's no Detroit. There's no Seattle. There's no LA. There's no large city like that. So a lot of it is sparsely populated, the state, but there are a ton of lakes, lots of really good hunting land for people who like to hunt pheasants, which a hunting lease is a great exit strategy for land. I'll tell you that people who hunt love their hunting land, right? And you can make really nice, recurring passive income that way just through um, hunting leases. But anyway, so Arkansas, low taxes. You could definitely do some seller financing deals. You can get a little bit larger land lots for the money. So, so for example, you can buy, you know, 2-3 acres there for anywhere from $100 to $200 a month, on a seller financing deal. And in some cases you can really strike it good if it's near like some sort of body of water, whether it's a freshwater river or a lake or something along those lines. You're really cooking with gas there. Arkansas is a nice vacation road. It's very very dry, easily drivable state for the most part. um, so there are a lot of people from close areas, surrounding areas, who like to travel with RVs, like to go travel hunting, like to take the family to the lake, that sort of thing. And so definitely Arkansas is on my list. As not on many others' lists, but it's on my list in terms of development. You still get reasonable weather in Arkansas. For the most part, you're still in the South, so you get reasonable weather. You've got short drives into Texas and to Oklahoma, back into Tennessee to Mississippi, down to Louisiana, up towards Missouri and that sort of thing. Um, Even over to Kansas. I mean, you got much shorter, drive. So it's, very kind of nice drivable area. Um, some people refer to, as God's country. Yeah, there's a lot of country, a lot of, farms and cornfields and things like that you start picking up in the state of Arkansas. So, my list of my top three that I look for, that I prospect in, that I look to do deals, land deals in, again, Arizona, Florida, and Arkansas. So these are just the top three. These aren't the only states, right? Like I mentioned, Colorado's in there. New Mexico is one. Nevada to a little bit of lesser extent. Let's see. Illinois is not bad. Um, Not the greatest tax state, but not bad. Not bad at all. Minnesota is not bad, particularly as you get into farming and some things like that. Minnesota is another state that is creeping up there in terms of land opportunity. And then, of course, even North Dakota is one where there's opportunities there. There's a lot of some mining that goes up there, people that come up there for that, and so definitely some great opportunity. But again, if I were starting out, if I were you and getting started into land investing, I would definitely look into Arizona. I would look to Florida, and I would look to Arkansas. And then, of course, number one is your own backyard, right, where you live. So, like I'm here in Memphis, if there's land opportunities here, particularly where I can do some sort of seller financing, That's what I look to do. So definitely, there's no place like starting in your own backyard. So wherever you live, start looking for land deals as you're riding around. You see whether it's vacant lots or you see land that's you've got to sign up for sale. Definitely reach out, uh, and there's opportunities, and I can show you the way. So again, if you want to look me up here, check me out here on the Wisdom app, as well as across social media, whatnot, Google search, things like that. If I resonate with you and you feel like I can be a resource, definitely consider joining the Land Champs Club. I'd love to have you. We have deal discussions there. I share what I believe to be good deals that I cultivate, that I share in there. There may be opportunities for us to go in together, right, and go in on a deal and really drive some revenue for the both of us together, leveraging each other's resources. Right, that's another great way not only to do the business, to start in business, but certainly to do it as well. And so, definitely check me out again, landchamps.club. Check it out. Reach out to me if you've got questions or thoughts or ideas or whatnot. But definitely join the club. That's a great way to really get involved. Okay. Okay, with that, I am at my office, so I am going to um, sign off here. I appreciate you all listening here. I'm going to have this up for the podcast, so definitely check out the Minding Your Business podcast, entrepreneurship, real estate, trending news. There's no business like minding your own, so come check that out. And I look forward to connecting with you here on the next episode. Remember, there's three things that unite us all, no matter where we're from, no matter what side of the tracks we're from, what side of the world we're from. We all want to be a little bit better for ourselves, a little bit better for our families, and a little bit better for our communities. And if we can remember those three things, wherever we go and whoever we engage in or interact with, we can all collectively make this place just a little bit better. Ron Brooks, Champ Ron, I'm signing off. Go make it a great day.